Hey, if you asked me, should you start streaming in 2023? I'd tell you the short answer is no, and I'm going to give you the top 4 reasons why you shouldn't. But before you give up on the idea entirely, let's talk about it, and I'll give you some tips about what I do to stay motivated and keep on streaming. Let's get started. Oh boy, okay, here we go. Top 4 reasons why you shouldn't start streaming. Number 1, streaming is crazy oversaturated, and let's talk about this. For example, I love to play Apex Legends. If I wanted to be an Apex Legends streamer, I'd be competing with really big streamers. Yes, there are a lot of viewers. Like right now, I'm looking at the browse channel of Twitch, and there are 26.5k viewers watching Apex Legends right now. But I'm going to dive into this and let's see how many people are watching the top 4 streamers. So I'm going to switch scenes here and let's see. Okay, so here we are in the browse channel of Apex Legends. We've got Fade with 5.4k viewers. You've got Dropped with 1.8k viewers. And the next person here, 1.1k viewers. And number 4 with basically 1,000. We'll look at number 5, 627, number 6, 513, number 7, 333, number 8, 329, and number 9, 286 viewers. So let's just say you've got an audience of about 5 people, right? Let's see how long we have to scroll down until we get to someone with 5 viewers. Okay, so let's go. This is 2 rows, 3 rows, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. At this point, it's not even worth it. If you look at all of this, you'd have to look relatively hard, right? If you're looking for a particular kind of streamer, you might have to look really hard. Maybe you come across something like this and you seem like, okay, she's cool. So you might click into that just because she so happens to be in a full face cam sort of thing. But, what are you going to do to compete against this amount of people? Like, okay, I must have been scrolling for at least, we'll say 30 rows even. So 30 times 5, do the math. You're looking at scrolling past 150 streams before you get to someone with like 5 or 6 viewers. So you see, guys, I made my point. Streaming is crazy saturated. That's the number 1 reason why you shouldn't start streaming in 2023. Let's move on to number 2. So number 2, you're not prepared and your software is probably not optimized for the game that you want to play. Okay. And when I say your software isn't optimized, let's talk about what that means. So let's say you want to play a game like Apex Legends. It's very intensive and you probably don't have the PC that can handle playing that game and streaming it at the same time. Of course, there's ways to get around that, but we're not going to talk about that right now. The next thing is, if you haven't set up your streaming software, your audio levels might be off. You might be something like too quiet. You might be too loud. If you haven't tested your audio in your stream, it's going to be unpleasant for your viewer. Some things like as simple as you've got a fan going in the background and it's blowing noise into your microphone. So there's just things like that you need to set up beforehand. The next thing I'm going to talk about is your bit rate. So some of you guys, we're not going to get too technical into this, but probably your bit rate isn't set up to make your stream look the best that it can be. Normally, you might just go in there and see that Twitch recommends a bit rate of 6,000 kilobits per second for a 1080p stream. But for something that moves, if you're playing a game, a FPS shooter like Apex Legends or Warzone, things move really fast and it's going to be unpleasant for the viewer to see a stream at 6,000 kilobits per second at 1080p. It's going to look really grainy. So again, your bit rate is probably wrong for the game that you're playing. If you don't set that up first, it's not going to look good. It's going to be an unpleasant experience for your viewer. And the last thing I'm going to talk about for optimization is your internet connection. It may be really unstable and you may not know it. So you've got to test it first. If you can, don't stream on Wi-Fi. Make sure that you plug an Ethernet cable into your computer. You're going to have a lot better results. Okay, reason number 3, your gear sucks, or you don't have the gear that you need. I mean, how many of you guys have one of these bad boys? Headset microphones, they're not the best. I mean, they'll work, but again, the quality won't be really good. The experience won't be good for your viewers. Not to mention, your mic settings probably aren't set up right. The next piece of gear we'll talk about is the camera. You may not have one, or it might just not be that good. And I don't know about you guys, but before, when I started watching streams, I only specifically watched people who had a camera. I just felt more connected to the streamer, and people who didn't have a camera, I basically just left right away. That was something that was really important to me. If I was watching a stream, I wanted to be able to see them. I felt more connected to them. Next piece of gear, lighting. Most people don't invest into lighting. And what people don't realize is that if you invest into even a couple of LED panel lights, 30, 40 bucks, if you get them used, you can get them for 20, 15 bucks. It's going to make a huge difference in the video quality. Most people don't realize that. So if anything, you should invest into lighting first before upgrading your camera. Okay, last one. Number 4. You're just not ready. A lot of things that people who've never streamed don't realize is that lots of things can go wrong while you're streaming. And you've got to pay so much attention to your chat if you want to do it right. For some people, multitasking like that can be really hard. Having to play a game and play it well, and also look over and read chat, process chat, and think of something to say in return. And especially when you're starting out, there's going to be a lot of awkward silences. Most people aren't crazy outgoing and can think of something to talk about all the time. There's going to be awkward pauses, and I don't know if you're going to be able to mentally get through that. And another thing you're probably not ready for is the emotional roller coaster that is streaming. There's so many ups and downs to streaming. You might get some viewers and then you'll feel super happy and elated. And the next thing you know, you come back the next day, you're down to 1 viewer or 0 viewers. And the next day you might somehow get rated and now you have 5 or 6 or 10 or 15 or 20 viewers. And then that's awesome and people stick around and chat for a little bit. But unless you're really engaging and you've really got a great stream going on, they're probably going to dip. That's what happens a lot of times with raids. You might have a couple people that follow you. You might have a couple people that end up watching you for a little bit. But most people, within a couple minutes, they're going to dip. Because you know what? They went to watch the other streamer. They're not necessarily there to watch you. So unless you do something to really stand out and really captivate them, they're going to leave. That's the unfortunate truth. Okay, let's recap those reasons why you shouldn't start streaming in 2023. Number 1, it's way too competitive and saturated. Number 2, your software and your gear is probably not optimized for what you're trying to stream. Number 3, your gear probably sucks or you don't have what you need. And number 4, you're just not ready. But I told you guys we would talk about it. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on how we can combat those 4 things so that you can start streaming in 2023 and have a great time. Okay, number 1, it's too competitive and it's too saturated. So what can you do? You know what? You can't play Apex. I'm just going to say it. You can't play Apex. You can't play Warzone. Okay, hold on. Let's backtrack. Yes, you can, but you're going to have to supplement that content with something like YouTube Shorts or TikToks, where you're going to play the game and record your most cracked gameplay, make montages, make shorts, and post them to other platforms, because that's the only way that you're going to get eyes on your channel. Sorry, Twitch isn't going to do it for you. The other thing you can do is play a game with a high number of followers and a low number of viewers. So when you're streaming, people aren't scrolling and scrolling and scrolling before they come across your channel. But let's just say you're an FPS player like me, and you really only want to stream a game like Warzone or Apex Legends because you love playing the game. That's okay. You're going to have to do things differently though. Be involved in the community, get to know other Apex players and Apex streamers, and that'll help a lot with getting you discovered. Now, I'm not saying go to another streamer's channel and self-promote. I'm really not saying that. What I am saying is once you get to know people within that community, odds are your communities are going to intertwine at some point, and that's okay. Just don't go to someone else's stream with the sole purpose of trying to build your own audience. People aren't stupid. Viewers aren't stupid. They're going to be able to see right through what you're trying to do. They'll call you out and you'll probably get banned. Hang out in other people's streams because you want to be there. You enjoy their content. And you know what? Take it as an opportunity to learn a thing or two. This person probably has a community for a reason. Break it down, be a student, and see what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, and try to fix that in your own stream. And the last thing I'm going to say to combat the very saturated streaming world is be yourself. You're unique. You're you. There's only one of you. So you may as well be yourself. That's going to be your competitive advantage. Trying to be someone else is not going to work. Okay, number 2, your software probably isn't optimized. If you're using something like OBS to stream, go to your tools, go to the auto configuration wizard, and it's going to help show you what settings are going to work best with the hardware that you have in your PC. Another thing you can do is test your internet. Go to fast.com and run the test. It will show you what your max download and upload speed are. And that way, you can determine what your max kilobits per second for your stream should be set at. Again, I'm going to reiterate. If you can, plug the Ethernet cable into your PC. Wi-Fi streaming, yeah, you can get away with it, but for the most part, it's unstable and you don't want that when you're streaming. Okay, number 3, you don't have the right gear or your gear sucks. Let's talk about it. What a lot of people don't realize when they start streaming is audio is king, even before video. So if you're using the mic on your headset, it's going to sound bad. It's going to sound compressed. It's not going to sound natural. What you want to do is invest in a microphone. It doesn't have to be really expensive, but most microphones in the $50 to $100 range are going to make a huge difference, and it's going to sound way better than the audio on your headset. Plus, it also looks kind of goofy. Yes, there are some streamers that can get away with it because they're just crazy cracked at the games that they play, or it's become part of their shtick. But for the most part, headset audio sucks. But regardless of which microphone you use, you're going to want to do a couple things to make your microphone sound a little bit better. One of those things, put in a noise gate. That way, fans and other things in the background, your viewers aren't going to hear it. Another thing you'll want to do is set your audio levels properly. If you're too quiet, people aren't going to hear you. If your microphone is getting too loud, it may clip or distort, and it's not going to be a good experience for your audience. If you're in the yellow, you're a good fellow. I can't believe I just said that. Wow. Okay, moving on then. If you can, get a camera. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can get a cheap webcam off of Amazon. It'll do the trick. Just make sure that you couple that with some cheap LED panel lights. I did that when I started streaming. I think I spent about $40 on the lights, $40 on the webcam, and it did the trick. It looked really good with some lighting. Get some lights. It's going to help a ton. Trust me on that one. And finally, last one. You're not ready. But the truth is, you're never going to be ready. And that's okay. What you need to do is start streaming. Because when you start streaming, you're going to learn. And by learning, things will get better. Let me tell you guys something. My first 3 streams were on Facebook. I was lucky enough to have some friends to play Apex Legends with me, but I really wasn't ready to stream. I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest. I mean, it was a disaster. I was alt-tabbing to change my audio levels. I didn't have any compression on my microphone, so I would get really loud and then really quiet and really loud and really quiet, and I didn't know that. And to make matters worse, when I actually did have a random person come into my stream, I just wasn't used to reading chat and playing a game. It was hard. But you know what? It gave me practice.
We talking about practice.
And it taught me that I had a lot to learn. And if I want to get good at this, I'm really going to have to hone my craft and spend some time. And spending time might mean different things, but one of the things you can do is just stream. I want you to shift your perspective a little bit and think of it this way. Having 0 viewers can be great. It lets you work on your craft and lets you work on it without the audience, without the scrutiny. And you know what? Those streams where you had 0 viewers gave you the practice.
We talking about practice.
So that you're ready when you have 10 viewers, 20 viewers, 50 viewers. Just remember, it's okay to have 0 viewers when you start streaming. Try not to be discouraged and keep at it, which leads me into my first tip. Turn that viewer count off. It's going to help a ton. For your mental, trust me on this one. Turn off the viewer count and just try to have fun streaming. Take it as an opportunity to learn. In the end, People are more likely to stay if they can see that you're having fun and not worrying about your viewer count. Just focus on you and getting better as a streamer. Try to think of one thing that you want to work on and do that for that stream. And then try to work on something else and do that for the next stream. And maybe the next stream after that, you work on those two things together and eventually you're going to get better. Just focus on you and getting better as a streamer. Okay, next tip. Have zero expectations. If you start streaming with the idea of making enough money so that you can quit your 9-to-5 job, I'm sorry, the harsh truth is it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Don't look so far ahead that you can't see what's right in front of you. And what's right in front of you is the opportunity to grow as a person and as a streamer. And remember, even if just one person clicks through, that's a dub. Take it, run with it, and have fun streaming. Hey everyone, Future Dangles here. I know that we just talked about a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't start live streaming in 2023, but I think you should check out this video here with my friend Matty Seps. He talks about a couple things that you can do to stand out in a very crowded live streaming landscape. Catch you guys next time.